Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel where I try hobbies so you don't have to. Unless of course you see me trying a hobby that might strike your interest. So for this week, we are moving on to our third week of kayaking, and I know I usually try 4 weeks of the hobby before I review, but kayaking seems to be giving me a bit of a hard time, both with a cost because it is really expensive to rent kayaks every week, and two, on the entertainment for me. So we're going to make this the final week of kayaking, and I'm going to give you a summary on how I feel about the kayaking hobby and hopefully try to add in some unbiased thoughts, so that way if it's something you guys would like to do that maybe it's not my cup of tea, you might see this and go, oh, you know what, actually I am gonna do kayaking because that seems like it's up my alley. So let's head over to Lake Huron, where we will try kayaking on a lake, which would be a little bit different than my usual rivers, and also it is the lake I grew up on here in Canada, so I figured I'd make this video a little bit sentimental. Alright, let's get going, let's hop into LA and start this drive, because it is a little bit of a drive for me. So we are here at Canatera Beach, and I actually went to go and see where the whole beach bums things is, because they said that they rent kayaks here online, and I can't find their setup, and so I went and asked about it, and apparently they haven't been here for years. You heard that correctly. So here we are at Canatera Beach. There's the lake, and unfortunately we have another fun time ahead of us trying to find a place for us to go kayaking. So anyway, we talked to the lifeguards and they said we can find them at the Sarnia Bay Marina. So we're gonna try and see what we can find over there, and perhaps we'll be able to go kayaking in the marina. I mean, it's not as beautiful as the lake, but it's better than nothing, am I right? So yeah, let's go see if we can find them, and if all else fails, then this is gonna be a swimming hobby. Like, I'm not too sure what we're gonna do, but let's go and I'll meet you at the marina and we'll see what we can do. Okay, so I am still at Canatera Beach, and turns out I can't rent a kayak. You should have heard the guy on the phone. It was brutal. I was like, this sounds like I'm getting rejected. Like, he felt like bad, but at the same time he was like, yeah, we don't have any. And I was like, okay, thank you. So renting a kayak in its essence is so difficult, and it's not a fun time for me, not gonna lie. Every time I go to the beach, I seem to always see kayak rentals, and so I'm like, this is gonna be such a great hobby, it's gonna be so easy. And then I am learning that apparently all these kayak rental places that I've been seeing is just like somehow upped and disappeared since I started this hobby. So kayaking, not easy. Anyway, so we're gonna head out of Sarnia because apparently there is no place we can rent kayaks here, even though there is so much waterfront right here. So I'm gonna go and head out and see where I can find a kayak for this final episode. And that is on wasting gas. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we went by another place for renting kayaks, and they said they couldn't rent us a kayak because they're closing at 2 p.m. It's 12:30. That was an hour and a half of kayaking I could have done. An hour and a half, and they wouldn't even rent it out to me. And it's not a big area. Like, it's not like I would be out there kayaking for hours. Like, when I show you, because I'm gonna go tomorrow, when I show you and you're out there kayaking with me, how big of an area it is, you're gonna be like, that is like a 30-minute kayak. And like, I know I am out here filming and doing recordings, so I'm gonna give myself an hour of kayaking, but still, there would have had their kayak back in time. Oh my goodness. Anyway, that is the fun of trying to rent a kayak, and I guess that preambles into my review. So wish me luck for tomorrow. I really hope I can get out kayaking one more time. Okay, hello everybody. It is the next day and it is approximately 11:20 in the morning. So we are gonna go and head over to the kayaking place nearby, and hopefully this time they'll be able to rent us a kayak and it's not too late. I don't know. I just need a kayak for an hour, please. Please let me kayak for an hour. So fingers crossed we can make that happen. Let's go. Let's try it out and let's finally do the last day of kayaking. Okay, everybody. So we are here where we can rent kayaks. And now the name of the store I feel like is pretty applicable to what it's like kayaking in Ontario. Stay tuned for that one. Anyways, I'm gonna go and try to rent a kayak and okay, so we are out on the water, and this is actually a different kayak than what I've been using. It's an open one, and as you can tell, my legs are too long for it. It's pretty funny. So while I kayak, I wanted to do my review as I go. For kayaking, the difficulty, I'm gonna put it at easy because it is not a difficult thing to learn, and it's pretty easy once you get going to like kayak. I guess if you're going upriver, it does get a little harder on your arms, but it's not a complicated hobby to get into. So definitely difficulty is easy. As for would I do it again? No. I wouldn't do kayaking again. I'm sorry, guys. If I go to a beach and they've got paddleboarding or kayaking, I'd probably choose paddleboarding over kayak. If the only possible thing is kayaking and I really wanted to go out and do something aside from swimming on the water, maybe, but no, I wouldn't do it again. No, not for me. I'm sorry. As I previously mentioned, kayaking is a pretty self-explanatory hobby, and that is why I'm giving it a brain power of 1. For relaxation, I'm not gonna dig on it. This is a very relaxing hobby, so if you're looking for like a physical hobby that's also relaxing, kayaking might be up your alley. So I'm gonna give it a 10 on relaxation. For kayaking, I give physical fitness a 8 because it doesn't work your total body, but you really do feel kayaking in your arms and in your core. So I can't knock on it. It's really, really good physical fitness, low on the impact scale, so it would be really good for those who don't want a lot of impact when they're getting out there. Also, another reason I give it an 8 on the fitness scale is because sometimes you really, really feel your arms working, and then other times you're just going down the river and you're just hanging out, chilling out, and it's kind of like a rest moment. So yeah, you're not fully engaged all the time, and it's only working your upper body and your core versus total body. So yeah, it's gonna have an 8. Now for entertainment. So I am pretty sure you guys can guess how I feel about kayaking and how entertaining it is already. But yeah, I didn't find kayaking to be that entertaining for me. And maybe I didn't find it entertaining because I do all these activities solo, and maybe if I were to do this with a friend, I would consider this to be more of an entertaining hobby. But also, honestly, it was a very complicated hobby to do when you're just renting. So I feel like if you guys wanted to do this as a regular hobby, purchasing a kayak is a must. Because as common as one might think kayaking is, it's actually a very difficult hobby to find these things to rent, even near bodies of water. So it made it very, very difficult to go kayaking every week. And also I had to go where the kayaks were. I couldn't go to perhaps maybe locations that I might find more interesting, and that would have brought up the entertainment for me a little bit. Okay, so I had to get out of the water because one, the rental was up, and two, I kept going into shore and it was really hard to record the review while my boat was floating into shore. Anyway, as we were saying with the entertainment, it might be more entertaining if I could choose where I was launching the kayak, and or there was more kayaking options in Ontario. I don't know. I was having a big struggle, which made it really hard to enjoy myself, trying to just find places to go kayaking. In addition, for me, the actual hobby itself, I couldn't find anything entertaining about it. Half the time I just wished I was swimming, except for obviously in the dirty water. But like when you're at that blue water, like over at Lake Huron, I was like, I'm gonna kayak, but I'd rather be swimming. So yeah, it's not particularly my favorite. Also, you're busy kayaking and sweating and the water's right there, and the whole time you're just like, I just want to be swimming. So yeah, for me, kayaking wasn't particularly the most entertaining thing. So I'm going to rate it a 3 on the entertainment scale. And I'm giving it a 3 because at least when I was rowing, there's some sort of thing I'm doing. I'm not just sitting pointlessly, because I feel like sitting pointlessly would then make it a 1. Now lastly, we have the cost of the hobby. Now, if you're renting every week, it is a very expensive hobby because you're spending like anywhere between $20 and $100 a week, and that's just for 1 hour of kayaking. So for me, that's a bit expensive. Then again, if you weren't to be renting and you were to purchase a kayak, I'm sure it would be cheaper long term, but the initial cost of getting started is super expensive. Plus you have the cost of your car, the gas, the oil, everything that comes with a car, because that is what's going to get you to these kayaking places, unless of course you live near water or on water and you can walk it. But that is something to take into account, especially if you want to go exploring while kayaking, is the travel costs. And also you're going to need to prepare your car, because if you have a small car and you don't have a truck or an SUV, you're going to need something like a roof rack on top, and then you're going to need all of those costs associated with buying one of those and getting your car prepared to trek a kayak everywhere. So that being said, for kayaking, I would rate the cost associated as a 5. Thank you everybody for watching this week's episode and making it to the end of the episode. I really appreciate it. If you really enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and go ahead and leave any comments down below. Hobbies you might like to see me try, leave that in the comments. Or if you have anything you would like to say about kayaking, please leave that in the comments. I'd love to read it and learn more about kayaking. Even though I won't be doing the hobby, I still would love to learn and hear what you guys have to say about kayaking itself. Now, as we enter the end of this hobby, we'll be moving on to our next hobby next week, so stay tuned. It's a surprise. I'm gonna leave it as a surprise for you guys. Go ahead and guess the hobby if you guys think you know what it is. I've been dropping a little bit of Easter eggs here and there on my live streams on Twitch and TikTok, so if you guys have been in those, you may or may not know what the next hobby is, but I'd love to hear and see if you guys have figured it out. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned into every single kayaking episode. I hope you guys liked it. And if you guys would like to keep up with the rest of my adventures, all the hobbies I try, and some of my vlogs, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell so you can be notified every single time I post. See you guys next week.